And welcome back, everyone. For those of you who might wonder what my work area looks like when I'm at work, this is it. I'm working on my Beethoven topical pages right now. All these white things are my different size mounts, show guard mounts. Got them from in sizes from 29, actually I got smaller than that, to 26 to 29, 30, 33, 44, and then more over here. Yeah, there's a 26, not much there. Up to 62s, got most of them are black. I got some in clear also. I want to use those for my classic 19th century stamps. And here's some blank pages I've made up for Beethoven. And I've got my margin strips here ready to attach to the pages. My mount cutter. My paper trimmer that I use for cutting the larger mounts and also for the document sleeves where I cut off the edges of the holes. Now on the pages, what I've done, let me see if I can show you here. This is an Excel sheet. Let me unhighlight it. And there we go. I don't know how well this will show up. You see all the dots? That's just a dot grid that I print out in a 25% gray shade. And, well, I've got a scan I'll put up there and show you. Anyways, it prints out very lightly, so it's unobtrusive. And then when I'm mounting the stamps, it gives me, a reference for squaring up the pages and centering and whatnot. Now, just a few seconds ago, I mentioned I print out the dot grid in 25% gray, but I found that I was having to really look for those dots. So I've switched it to a one shade darker, to 35% gray, and that's working out a lot better, and it's still pretty unobtrusive. Some of you with younger eyes might be able to get away with using the 25% gray. Now, because someone asked a question in a comment in another video about the plastic holes margin that they see in the pages, I'm going to just kind of rehash the details on that, since I don't expect that everyone has seen, all of my previous videos, especially the one where I detailed that. So briefly, what I do is just take a regular document sleeve. You'll notice the sleeves are a lot taller than the paper. So you have to trim off the excess at the top and the bottom. It'd be nice if you could just trim off one side, but then your holes are off center. So take a paper trimmer and you just trim off a little off the top edge, trim a little off the bottom edge. And then once you've done that, you just trim the holes off of it. So you just take your paper trimmer and just stick it in there with just about a 1/2 inch or so inside the holes. Slice off the margin, and then you wind up with two pieces. You got your margin, and the holes are still centered, so you have about a 1/2 inch there in which you can just slip your page in there. Get the edges flush, and then you just tack it down. I put just three tiny pieces of tape on the top, bottom, and center, front and back, and it holds nicely. And then in another video, somebody asked me if I had any use for the leftover, the remainder of the sheet after I trim off the edge. And in fact, I do have a use for that, which I will show you in just a moment. Now, when I signed off from my last video, I told you that my next video, this one, I was going to show you my Czechoslovakia pages, but unfortunately, I did not get those ready because I'm kind of like a dog and a squirrel. I got to thinking about my Beethoven stamps that I wanted to get mounted, so I switched to that. So here's my topical album. You notice it's not the Lighthouse album. I decided to get a second one and leave the Lighthouse for my country pages, and this one will temporarily, anyways, hold my topical pages. Here's what I did get done with the Czechoslovakia. There's my title page. And I got, let's go. This souvenir sheet for the Red Cross from Monaco, which of course is engraved by Czechoslovakia, as is this one. Oh, look, my page, oh, there, see, it goes right back in. As this souvenir sheet from Monaco too, for the 25th anniversary of the Princess Grace Foundation, featuring 2 beautiful engraved stamps by Czechoslovakia. This is a page I've seen before. It was just a little 1-page exhibit. I'm going to remount that on A4 page, on A4 paper, because this was done while I was still in the States. So you can see the difference in size between the A4 and American letter size, although the American is a little bit wider. Okay, so here's my Beethoven collection. It starts with this page of Austria. In 1922, Austria issued the first set of stamps featuring classical music composers. So I didn't want to break up the set just to show Beethoven. So I just use it to introduce the Beethoven pages. And this is a series of 7 stamps showing Haydn, Mozart, Schubert, Beethoven, Bruckner, Johann Strauss Jr., and Hugo Wolf. And if you're wondering who Hugo Wolf is, I am too. Not really. He occupies a little niche spot within classical music called Lieder, German Lieder, art songs, and I guess for people who like that stuff, he's one of the greatest practitioners of composing German Lieder. I'm not. Personally, I would have replaced that stamp with one for Gustav Mahler. Mahler had only died 11 years earlier in 1911 when this set was issued. However, Mahler was he was not held in high regard. He did not have much of a reputation during his lifetime. He was known more as a orchestra conductor and not as a composer. And it wasn't really until 1960 when Mahler really started gaining in popularity, due mainly to the efforts of conductor Leonard Bernstein. But I digress. This is supposed to be about Beethoven, isn't it? So we'll continue on here. All right, so that's the introductory page to my composers on stamps. Here's a page I've got ready to accept stamps of Johann Sebastian Bach. And then we get into Beethoven proper. Here's page 1. And you'll notice that the first stamp is not even an actual stamp. This is a trade card, a trading card, a collectible card, like a baseball card from the, I guess, around the 1930s. I'm not sure. I've got it mounted so that I can flip it and show the back side. And these are pictures of German history. And then below that, we have this stamp. The stamp is actually the center of the label. You see the perforations there. And this is an actual vinyl record that plays an excerpt of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. The next page shows another 250th. Yeah, that, by the way, that one was issued for Beethoven's 250th anniversary or birthday in 2020. Another 250th birthday issue was this one from Switzerland, which is also an actual vinyl record. I've played neither of these records because I no longer have a turntable. And like the previous Spain stamp, this one has a punch-out center that is the actual stamp. You'll notice there is a cancellation there. So this is a CTO, which I normally don't like, but it's just fine in this case. Below that, this is the sleeve that the turntable and record came in. So I love this. That's a pretty neat item. And then we just get into some more traditional stamps and souvenir sheets. Top from Mexico. From Suriname. And of course, from Germany, a souvenir sheet from 1959. It includes some other composers, George Friedrich Handel, Louis Spohr, Franz Joseph Haydn, and Felix Mendelssohn. Oh, and of course, my main man, Ludwig van By the way, here's some trivia for you. Beethoven's name, Beethoven, not Ludwig, but Beethoven comes from the Dutch word for beet farm, which goes back to his ancestors. His grandfather was or lived in the Dutch Flemish region of the lowlands, and the van, Ludwig van Beethoven, that's similar to the VON used in German names, and it just means Ludwig from or of the city of Beethoven, and that was the name of the city in which his grandfather came from. Continuing on then, got some more, a nice page full of stamps. There's a Beethoven House in the middle, a stamp from Austria, and flanking that stamp on each side are two from the German Democratic Republic. And everybody got into the bicentennial celebration of Beethoven, including Togo. Issued a couple of stamps. Hungary, Rwanda, Greece, there's another Hungary, Ras Al Khaimah, USSR, India, and France. This is one I like from Monaco, and the music staff below shows the theme from the Ninth Symphony, Ode to Joy. And here we got one from Mongolia, and a gold foil covered one from Fujairah. The Maldives, Czechoslovakia. And here's a souvenir sheet, this time from DDR, East Germany. And this block of 4 from West Germany. Here's another set from Fujairah. It's the imperforate set, the imperforate variety of a normally perforated set. And you'll notice in the lower left corner, it depicts an instrument and some music. There's a French horn, timpani there, this one, a violin. And then on this one, it shows a piano, or maybe it's a anti-piano. I'm not sure, because you'll notice the long end, the long part of the piano, which contains the bass notes, naturally the long strings, is on the right side, which is, of course, totally wrong. The bass notes are played on the left end of the keyboard. And this is a rare and very valuable variety error stamp, worth about 25 cents, I guess. Here's one that's gotten, I have to tack this top cover of the mount closed to make it more secure, but this is a nice one I like, from Poland. And then a pair of stamps from Austria, this one for the 250th birthday. And on the other side is what's called a black print. Well, it looks like a stamp. It does not have any postal validity. It's just a print of the regular postage stamp, just printed all in black. Now, sometimes you'll find black prints, especially from the Scandinavian countries, like ones that are engraved by Martin Merck or Sonia, where they print only the design and they leave out all the other text inscriptions. And I really like those. But this one is a straight reproduction of the stamp, text and all. The next page, got 3 stamps, one from Austria, Colombia, and another from Austria. And here's a nice first day cover I got from Svazdan Milosevic, one of my loyal viewers. And actually, this is one of my favorite issues. I really like this cover. And the last page. It's kind of out of order because after I created the previous pages, I found a few more stamps and the souvenir sheet that I didn't realize I had. And this is you'll notice the words on top, Neudruck. That means a new printing. These are reprints of the 1922 semi-postal set. This sheet was printed in 1969 to commemorate 100 years of the Vienna State Opera. And then down below that is my latest Beethoven stamp I acquired from Portugal. And then the rest of this is just pages I've prepared to mount Chopin, Liszt, Mozart, I've got a few Mozarts to mount. Oh yeah, and I forgot about this, the China. Here's that's one more Beethoven stamp. This is from a set of 4 from 2010, issued by China for commemorating Western composers. And as you can see by the caption, these were all engraved by Martin Merck. It doesn't get any better than that. The other 2 in that set are, well, I don't know if you noticed, this is Bach up there, Beethoven, of course, Joseph Haydn, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Okay, I'm getting away from Beethoven again, but what the heck. Then in 2017, Martin Merck engraved another set of 4 stamps for China. This one featuring Frederick Chopin, Franz Liszt, Gustav Mahler, and Franz Schubert. Now there's something I want to point out here. Where is this? Ah, yes, on this souvenir sheet, I didn't have it looks like it might be on inside a mount, right? A black background mount. It's not. I didn't have a mount large enough for that. So this is actually, and in fact, I don't think, I told you I was going to show you later about my document sleeves, the remainders, what I do with them. After I trim off the holes, then what do I do with the rest of it? Well, this is what I do. I trim it down to fit a large or a souvenir sheet that I don't have a proper mount for. And this black background is just actually a stamp border that I print wide because I'm not sure how it's going to print out. You notice the left and right side are narrower than the top and the bottom. That's because I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's my printer or if that's just the way of all printers. But when I specify the box size in AlbumEasy, it actually prints out several millimeters smaller than what I specified. So I add a few millimeters to compensate, and I made the border 3.5 millimeters wide so that when I stick the sheet on, you'll get a black border around it because the sheet mounted directly on the page is too close in color, and it kind of gets lost. So all right. Whereas this is an actual mount. It looks a lot nicer, doesn't it, with the nice even margins all around. So that's my Beethoven collection. Those are all the stamps I have of Beethoven. I need to get some more. But next I'll get to work on my other composers, Mozart, Liszt, Mahler, and hopefully get some more of the Soania stamps mounted. So, hope you enjoyed this look at my Beethoven collection, and until next time, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector wishing you all happy stamping.